Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to Rhyme Signatures. Today I've got a bit of a fun video for you. I was sort of mulling it over, thinking of like what kind of ideas can I do which will be kind of fun, engaging, interesting, etc, etc, blah blah. And I figured it might be fun to have a little look at what discogs considers to be my most valuable records that I own. Now, of course, this is purely monetary value. We are not talking about emotional value here because some of these are just like way at the bottom. Some of them are still high up though. No, the point that I want to make with this video is that this is not a flex. This is not me going, ooh, look at me, I'm fabulously wealthy, blah, 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 because I'm not. But, you know, these just happen to be records that I have either been gifted, I have found at a reasonable price, and then later on found out they're actually worth a decent scratch. However you want to spin it, this is not a video for me to go, look how great I am, you know. This is not a flex video. This is just a me showing some nice records that I happen to own. So we have a couple of little rules here. We are going in order from 10 through to 1, and we are going off the average, the median value that Discogs has assigned to each of these albums. The highest price for some of them is very much higher on the list than their position would otherwise dictate. But we're going off the average value here. So without further ado, let's get started with number 10. All right, first up it is Justice for All by Metallica. Yeah, normally you can just like go into whatever shop you want and you can find a pretty decent repressing edition of this. It doesn't matter, who cares. This happens to be a 1988 print from the original run, therefore quite a thin vinyl. It's very, very skinny, you know, none of this 180 gram nonsense back then. And it is on the, where are we? What label of phonogram? Vertigo. It's on Vertigo. And I have checked this one on Discogs. This is the correct one. And this one sold for a median of £40 with a maximum sale value of £87, which is quite a lot. Now, I came to this album as it was sold to me by a former work colleague. They happened to be not really much in a way for collecting vinyl. They knew that I was, and they said, hey, you like metal, you like vinyl, do you want to buy this off me? And I was like, sure, cool, let's go. Now, I don't remember how much I actually paid for it. It wasn't £87, that much I can definitely assure you, but it was a reasonable price. But it's a great record, obviously one of the greats from Metallica, you know, that first initial run before Load and Reload kind of soured things a little bit for people, and I will always stand And Justice for All. I think it's an incredible record. Just poor Jason. What more can you say about how much Jason got buried in it? Look at his sad little face. You had no idea. Oh well, great record regardless. Okay, coming in at number 9, we have Cult of Luna with Vertical 1 and 2. 2, of course, being the EP that was released as a sort of a companion piece to this. Now, this was released as a Record Store Day exclusive. I don't remember the year that it was done. It might have been 2021. I don't remember. The original record came out in 2016, if memory serves correctly, and this is obviously quite a special release. Now, the average cost for this one is around £49, and the highest was £79. So, you know, a reasonable price, not entirely terrible, and it comes on this really nice clear vinyl, and it looks very, very, very cool. But what I like about this is that it does come with the EP of Vertical 2 to give you even more music than you've already got on here, which is quite a lot of music in and of itself. I grabbed this one from my local record store a few months ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I don't really remember how long it was. It wasn't that long ago. And they were just selling it for like RRP. So I got this for like £30, I think it was. So I got a decent saving on that. Obviously, it's, you know, not for everybody's cup of tea. It's not everybody's taste, this, but I happen to love Cult of Luna. As far as I'm concerned, one of the best post-metal outfits out there right now. Great record if you've not listened to it, and especially having the, you know, the extra down there, the extra Vertical 2 is a real bonus for this one. Brilliant record. Check it out. Right, next up we have got Beatles for Sale. Yeah, this is one that I rescued from my mother's house, actually. When I started collecting vinyl like a few years ago, she was like, oh, I've got some records left over. Do you want to maybe come around and have a little look and see if there's anything you fancy picking up? And I was heartbroken when I got there because she does, or did rather, have, what do you call it? What's the one, what was it called again? Hard Day's Night, that's one. It was, she had a Hard Day's Night, but yeah, it got warped to absolute buggery. It was just like, you know, it was like a, it was heartbreaking to see that. But this survived. This is a original, I believe, 1964 pressing on Parlophone, this one. Very, very, very good nick. This has survived the transition of the ages quite well. Bog standard, you know, black vinyl, whatever, but there you go, you got the Parlophone label there as well, you can probably see it. Very, very good record. I was obviously a much bigger fan of the Beatles as they sort of moved out of their sort of, I don't want to say boy band, but it kind of started the whole boy band thing, let's be real. After they moved out the whole, you know, family-friendly stuff from the early 60s, moving into the more experimental stuff, you know, like with Magical Mystery Tour and all that kind of thing. That was a bit more my jam. This is worth, on average, £50 and a highest amount of 180. Now, I don't know if it's likely to go for 180 if it was to get put on the market again. I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I got it for free, so thank you very much, Mumsy. I have been taking very good care of it, unlike that poor deceased record that you did not. Right, carrying on. It's more Beatles. This time, Abbey Road. Yeah, this is another one. This is worth £54 on average and sold for as much as £200, which is quite a lot of money. Now, this came as a gift to me, in actual fact, from my former housemate's father when it was my birthday like 2 years ago. Because again, he's not got much use for his vinyl, he only has a few records, whatever, and they said, hey, you've been collecting these for a little while now, do you want, like, something for free? And I was like, okay, I'll take it. Little did I know that this would be amongst the freebies, but I was quite delighted when I found out that this was an original, I think, 1970, when is this one? 1969 pressing, this one, and again, it's on the Apple Records there, and, yeah, the number's correct. Yeah, so I've got the right versions there saved in my discogs. I'm not lying to anybody. Yeah, so this one's a fairly beefy boy, you know. Last sold apparently 10th of August 2024 for about £35. So, you know, it's not a hugely valuable record, obviously, but it's nice to have it. And it's equally nice that it was gifted to me, which was very, very sweet. Still an incredible album, one of the Beatles' best. I don't think anybody can really be in denial of that. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Okay, carrying on the list, we have got Led Zeppelin 4. This was a... which one was this one? Original release? Yeah, this is, yeah, the version I've got, yeah. So this was worth £60 on average, and with the highest amount of £85, and it last sold 5 days ago, according to this, for £60. So, decent chunk of change. Decent, ooh, nearly dropped it there. It was nearly worth zero money if I'd dropped that. But there you go, you've got the... all the lyrics and everything like that, the liner notes and all that thing. Looks very, very nice. And, you know, got the back there as well. And I'll just quickly whip this out and take a quick little look at it. And as you can see there, Atlantic Records. Very, very nice. Classic record. Not my favourite Zepp, but I picked this one up at a record fair for £12, I think I paid for it, which is obviously considerably less than what it's worth. I feel a little bit guilty about it, but not so guilty that I'm ever going to go and give it back. You know, whatever. I was delighted to get my hands on this. I would say Houses of the Holy or Physical Graffiti I would probably put as my favourite Zepp albums. But this is still great. This is probably third place for me, you know. Nice gatefold as well. Open it there. Very, very pretty. It's in good nick. Covers in well preserved. It's a great record. Love it. Very, very cool. Okay, next on the list is not a LP, actually. This is a box set. This is the Retinal Circus by Devin Townsend. The big collector's edition thing where there's a lot of stuff going on inside. I'm going to just take some of it out and show you because it's quite cool. And I've got all the various bits and pieces still intact, which is lovely. This was a gift from my partner for Christmas on the year that it came out. And it goes for an average of 74 quid, and apparently the highest amount somebody's paid for this is 176. So it's getting into the beefy territory here. It's getting into the beefy territory. So I'm just going to have a quickly show you what's actually included in the box, as best as I possibly can, at least anyway. So you get this fabulous lenticular Devon who can sort of watch you around the room. The big book. And the big book, of course, contains the various discs and what have you there on the front. And at the back, you got some more there. I do have the guitar pick somewhere lying around. It's just not there. I think it's with all my various picks, which could mean it could be anywhere. Who knows? And then as we flip through, we have a little letter from Mr. Townsend. You know, a little drawing and stuff like that there. I'll give that a little close up. And the bottom goes on about retinal circus there as well. It's quite cool. It's obviously not handwritten, but it's obviously like a scan of a handwritten note. But it's quite cute. It's a nice little thank you for buying this kind of thing, and it's nice. It's very, very cool. Then we've obviously got a bunch more extras in here. So you've got a little Polaroid of the band performing on this tour, presumably, amongst the various track listings, and you've got a big picture of Ziltoid there. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in this book. It's really, really, really nice. Quite detailed, all sorts of little random excerpts and stuff that goes on in it. We've got is this, of course it comes with the ubiquitous Devin Townsend mask, which you can sometimes see people wearing at his gigs, which is quite fun, and this one's lasted quite well. Yeah, then amongst all of that you get a certificate of authenticity, which shows that this is the 861st of 2000, you can really see it there. Just nothing on the back, but I might get that framed at some point. That'd be quite cool actually to have that framed and put up somewhere proper. That'd be very, very cool. And this is going to be quite hard to show, but I'm going to do my best. And at the bottom of the box, you have like a pop-up booklet thing where it sort of goes like, da 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 da, it's the retinal circus, woo, okay, woo, everything's crazy and weird and shit. And then you got the pop open, you know, it's a lovely box set. It's very, very cool. I'm extremely grateful to have my hands on this because honestly it's one of the higher value emotional things that I happen to own, because from who it came from for a start, and the fact that it's, you know, my favourite artist probably of all time. So yeah, there we go, the Retinal Circus from Devin Townsend. Alright, carrying on, and then again, this is not an LP, this is again a, I don't want to say box set, but a collection set. It is the Deliverance and Damnation remixes. Oh, it's very white balanced off there, isn't it? Let's try and angle that somewhat. Come on, here we go. Left, right, up, down, side to side. I'll hold it back here. There, yeah, you can see it now. The Deliverance and Damnation box, which was the Stephen Wilson remixes, coming on the 5.1, as well as the actual albums themselves, which are remastered. Really, really, really good job remastering these. Now, it's weird to me because, like, you can normally pick up Deliverance and Damnation separately, like the original CD pressings for like no money. They cost like £2 or £3 on Amazon, or you can go into like your local HMV and they've got them there for like less than £5. This is an average of £72 and a highest price of £125. Now, I don't remember when I got this. I think I bought this when it came out. I think I must have done. Probably because I don't remember buying it, that's likely to be what's happened. Otherwise, because it meant there was no significant life event that led to my buying of this. I think I was just like, cool, Deliverance and Damnation remastered, I'm going to get that. And so I did. But yeah, great remasters. Surprised me how much this is actually worth on discogs. I was like, okay, that's a lot. I wasn't expecting that. But, you know, there we go. There's clearly a demand for this, but my copy. Okay, now this next one, again, it's a CD, and this has the highest overall price of anything in my collection. This is like the numero uno by a considerable margin, and I think there's a reason for this, because this is quite a scarce thing. It is Haken's original demo album, Enter the Fifth Dimension. Now, the ridiculous thing about this album is that it comes presented on, I'll show you that here now. It's just a CDR with Haken 2007-2008 written on it. It's like, okay, whatever. You know, Memorex, the finest quality. And the printing quality, obviously, on the actual thing there. You can see it as there. It's very poor. It's like dot matrix printer. It's like printed on toilet paper almost. It's ridiculous. Now, the only way you were able to get this was back in the early days of the band being a thing. You had to send them an email and say, hey, I like your stuff. Can I have your demo album? And they just send it to you. So I did. Now, the ridiculous thing about this particular album is that the average sales price for this CDR, which you could get for free, is £80. The highest amount somebody has ever paid for this album is £338, which is just insane to me. It is so crazy. It is absolutely insane. According to Discogs, the most recently sold copy was on the 12th of November 2023 for £97.11. And I'm just sat here thinking, I don't pay nothing for this. Okay. So it's kind of like having a gold bar in my hand when I look at it that way. It's ridiculous. I was stunned when I saw how much this was actually being sold for. I believe it's available on streaming in certain countries on Spotify. Not sure it's on everything, but it's really worth giving this a listen because it's such a class album. It's so good. I would actually love it, honestly, if for the next release they just did a full-on remaster of everything on here, not just the reimaginings that they did on Restoration, you know. I just want a fully re-recorded version of this album, straight from start to finish, because there's some real dynamite gems on here. Okay, we're into penultimate territory here, and it's another Record Store Day release. It's Bluey's Dance Mode. Oh yeah, we love Bluey, we love Dance Mode. This is great, okay? Chat and Max, the Eldritch being on the back there, looking as terrifying as they possibly can do, as they usually do. Now, the reason why this one is quite special to me is because I became a huge fan of Bluey over the COVID pandemic thing, because I got COVID and it was horrible, and I felt like I was going to die multiple times during the infection. And all I could really do was sort of like sit in my room and rot and cry and feel very bad about myself. But I had my tablet propped next to my bed, and I basically mainlined Bluey because I wanted something cute and friendly and inoffensive to make me feel better. And it really ticked the box, and I would consider myself an enormous fan of the show now. Yeah, I know, I'm one of those weird childless adults who likes Bluey. I don't care. It's a great show. If you never watched it, do you check it out. But the real thing with Bluey is that the music is genuinely fantastic. Josh Bush is one of the best composers for this sort of thing, I think, who's ever existed. Unbelievably brilliant. And this particular Record Store Day release... Nearly dropped it then. Oopsie, that would have been embarrassing. This particular Record Store Day release, as you can see here, it's got the whole zoetrope effect thing going on. So you've got bandits doing a little dance. They're all doing a little dance. It's great. It's really, really fun. This averages about £92. The highest it sold for was 152, and it most recently sold 29th of August 2024 for £130. So this is quite a significant investment. Again, Eldritch Horror of Chattermax on the back. We love them very much. Now, this one I ended up sitting in the rain, the pouring rain, from about 4 o'clock in the morning till about 9 o'clock in the morning on Record Store Day a few years ago when this came out. And it was the first entry into my taking collecting records more seriously phase. You know, this is where it all started with this, basically, which is ridiculous when you think about it. I had a few records, but I didn't really start collecting until I picked this up, because then I thought, you know what, that could be kind of fun. So yeah, I waited in the rain for 5 hours, picked this up, and now it's worth a decent chunk of change. And as you can see down there, I've got the previous Record Store Day one as well, but I didn't queue up for that one. That was, again, another present from my partner for my birthday last year. Was it birthday or Christmas? It was one of them. But again, I got both of them, so it means when the third one comes onto Record Store Day, I've got to get that as well. Got to complete the set, you know. And last, but by no means least, the most expensive and valuable item in my collection, the whole lot of everything, nothing is worth more than this one on a median level. It is The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck by Thomas Halopainen. That guy, him, the one there, the Nightwish dude. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, this one is really, really cool. The Don Rossa artwork on the front. Obviously, I've got the actual books up there on a shelf. I would go and get them, and I can't be bothered because then I'd probably knock everything off the shelf, and then there'd be lots of loud screaming and injuries, and nobody wants that. This goes on average for £97, and the highest somebody paid for this is £211. And this isn't even the spankly version with the gold vinyl. This is your basic black version, you know. So the gatefold's lovely. It looks great. Even the sleeves for the records themselves look really, really nice as well. Some beautiful artwork there. Scrooge on the back again. But it's basic black, you know. It is just the basic black vinyl. There's nothing particularly fancy or special about this version. But I guess it's got a certain degree of, what's the best way of putting it, desirability amongst the fan base, you know, because it's a very, very niche target audience, this. You know, you're looking at your Disney fans, your melodic metal fans, your Duck fans. I mean, I just happen to fall into the sort of trifecta of these three. You know, at the centre of the pie graph, there's me sort of going, hey, you know, which is all great fun. Now, while this might be my most monetarily valuable version of the album, it's not the album version of it which means the most to me, if that makes any sense. I had words in my head, they came out wrong. You get where I'm going with this. No, the most valuable version of this album is the CD version. Now, the reason why that's important to me is because I got it signed by Scrooge McDuck himself at Disneyland, in gold pen nonetheless. Also, Donald and Daisy wanted in on the action as well, so I got their signatures too. Yeah, I got it twice. I don't care. I always get my favourite albums twice, and it's a really fun record. If you've never listened to it, it's a strange mashup of Nightwishy metal and really twee, quite Disney-esque orchestrations. It's fun. It's great. It's just a really silly little album, but it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy it, and obviously I've got quite a lot of time for it because of the whole duck thing, and I am slightly duck-cessed. Is that a new word? Well, I just made it up, you know. We're going to go for the portmanteau here. Duck-cessed. No, God, that sounds awful, actually, doesn't it? Let's not call it duck-cessed. Let's just throw that in the bin and pretend we didn't use that. Let's just carry on with our lives. So yeah, those are my 10 most valuable albums according to discogs, apparently. So, you know, I'm sure I could use another metric. I could have maybe looked it up on eBay or something, but honestly, at that point, it's more effort than I can be bothered with. I was happy to just go with the metrics of the median value on discogs. So what I'd like to know is, what's in your collection? What is your most valuable record? What is the one that's worth the big bucks, you know? Is there a story behind how you found it? Did you get gifted it? Was it an inheritance? Did you get a lucky flea market find? You know, please talk to me about your most expensive records in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you did make it this far, if you did enjoy watching me ramble incoherently about the things that I have in my collection, then please do leave me a thumbs up, please do drop me a subscription, and as always, guys, until next time, keep your rhyme signatures pretty odd.